Introduce yourself, good sir.
You did it.
There you go. I think everybody knows who you are. And which you gentlemen would like to introduce yourself?
Nicholas, please.
Hi, yeah, I'm Nick Fuentes. First time here on the Timcast.
Really dressed up like a professional there, as you can see.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you do?
Oh, I'm a live streamer. I do a show called America First on cozy.tv.
All right. And of course, Milo, you were here a couple weeks ago.
Yes, I'm your best ever guest.
So we've been told that the episode with you was one of the best.
That's what he keeps telling himself about all things. I was the best. I was the best. When meanwhile, everybody knows different.
Podcasts ever. People really enjoy hearing you speak.
I think it's accurate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming back.
Thanks. I was wondering how I was going to make it even more extraordinary the second time I visited, but I think I might have pulled it off.
Luke's here.
Total Sausage Fest tonight. Welcome. My name is Luke of wearechange.org. Today I'm wearing my Didn't Epstein Himself t-shirt, which you can get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And I think we should be using that word a little bit more, just like, this YouTube channel Didn't Epstein.
He really likes this Epstein. He wants everything to be called Epstein. It's strange.
Thank you so much for having me.
And of course, Serge.
And I'm Serge.com. Pleasure, guys.
All right. And I'll just pull up this story from The Hill, which is from earlier today, 5 p.m. Pence says Trump should apologize. It's wrong to give anti-Semite a seat at the table. This, of course, is related to a dinner that happened, and I was wrong a little on the detail.
This is the fallout that I said immediately would happen. And I just want to point out that a bunch of other people said, no, it's not going to happen. There won't be any fallout because it doesn't matter.
So a dinner happened. Nick, you were there. Yay, you were there. I just want to start off by, how did this dinner come to happen, and what happened?
I was talking to Trump for about a month. We had scheduled the dinner in October, and then he announced for president. He pushed the dinner back to November. And I've been pulling together a campaign. And after I put up the DEF CON tweet, a bunch of people that have been canceled, like Alex Jones, I started getting in contact with other people that were now on the, the inside of the matrix. And Alex Jones, producer, said that Milo wanted to contact me. And here we are.
So that's how you guys got in contact?
Yeah, originally. And
so Milo was reaching out to him. This is a fascinating thing because it makes me wonder, and it should make you wonder, who is behind Milo? Who's working with Milo's reaching out to this guy who says these, and is it accurate to say that Milo is Jewish but now he's a Catholic, born Jewish? Is that, I don't know, you tell me. But who's behind Milo and this decision to take this fanciful vision, this fanciful dream, the fantasy of running for president, which it would never be anything more. I mean, it's like playing with Tonka trucks for this, for this rapper who can't do anything, apparently. He doesn't even know how to get his own driver's license. And Milo's going to show up and he's going to make it happen. For whose good is that? Who does that, cui bono, who benefits?
and then I suggested that we bring in Nicholas as a enormous extra brain firepower that he is. He's the most extraordinarily brilliant political commentator of his generation, and he's been treated just.
Is it that he's a great political commentator? I don't think so. He just tells you what happened in the news. He doesn't break things down accurately. He just tells you what happens, and then he retells the story laboriously. And I think you kind of have to have the memory of a hamster to be able to put up with it, to have to hear it again and again and again. I think that Milo wanted Nick on board because Nick is poison. And for as much as Nick says with these very convenient comments that he'll make all of these deep and ugly slanders. By the way, deep and ugly slanders about Southerners, white Southerners. I have heard clips of him. And it's very convenient for him to say, oh, then I was just kidding. I'm actually totally Catholic and I love everybody. Nobody believes that shit.
About as badly as anybody, so I thought he deserved to be in the room too. And yeah, that's pretty much how we got together.
So I have some questions about that, but we'll get through the dinner portion of how exactly this happened, what went down. So this is how you get in contact, the three of you. How is it that Nick ends up invited to this dinner, and what happened?
Good question.
He was rolling with me. I was impressed with Nick, and I was like, just come to the dinner. And we had Karen Giorno pick us up from the airport, and there was a lot of back and forth. There's another gentleman named Jamar Montgomery that was with us. He's an engineer at Boeing, and I'm telling you, we should raise everyone's volume. Okay, cool. And we sat there, and it was like when Trump came in, I said, do you want to sit alone? He's like, no, bring your friends in. So a big thing is like Trump had no idea who Nick Fuentes was. But this whole, I just got to go right.
So right there, you have an admission. Trump has no idea who Nick was. No idea. So the guy walked in the 10-year-old body. This guy walks up, and not caring at all for Trump and all of the millions of Americans who would like to see Trump win president. Not caring at all. He selfishly goes up, has the conversation with him, and poisons him by doing so. And now you have the folks rolling out to condemn Trump for meeting with this, what they are going to refer to as a rabid, racist, anti-Semite, and etc., misogynist, and all of these other things. It's interesting, too, to note that Milo appears as soon as Ye is surrendering and saying, okay, it's not all Jewish people. And you saw from the other interviews that we covered where Ye is apologizing to the Jewish people, to Jewish families that don't have anything to do with it. He was apologizing, and suddenly Milo shows up, and all of the evil of the world is the responsible of this one group is suddenly again alive in Kanye West. And you'll see it on him as we talk here. The apologies are gone.
To the heart of this anti-Semite claim that's happening. This is something, if you read the definition, it says you can't claim that there's multiple people inside of banks or in media that are all Jewish or you're anti-Semitic. And that's the truth. Like, it's the truth. What are we talking about? And
elaborate, what do you mean? You mean?
I'm saying, like, I've been labeled anti-Semite, right? So
he specifically, I find that very curious that he looked up the definition of anti-Semite and discovered that it says that you can't say that the majority of people in banking or in media are Jewish. I really doubt that is what the definition is.
So when we start questioning things that question the indoctrination, then you immediately get, you said debanked, or what did you say happened to you? Or
demonetized, deplatformed.
Demonized, demonetized. And what's so beautiful about this time is everyone got to see what's really been happening. And now we can really understand. We can see that Ron Emanuel was right next to Obama, and then Jared Kushner was right next to Trump.
But, so
no, it's not. It is not. This time is different. It's absolutely not different. Throughout our lives, when a person contradicts anti-whiteism, and specifically, you could contradict and condemn an entire people that's not white. The only race that you can condemn is the totality of the white race. The only babies in the womb that you can blame for 1,000 years ago is the white race. You even saw that when Ye appeared with Friedman and the other loser. In both of those interviews, they're like, yeah, all the white people, colonists and the evil white police officers, no problem there. So it's not this specific people, it's anti-whiteism. You can't condemn anybody except for the white race.
So we're getting right into it, I guess, right? I was hoping to go for the news first before we got into all of this stuff. I think the issue is, one way to put it, is you're expounding upon a localization issue that you've witnessed, right? Let me clarify. There are a handful of people that you see are Jewish in a certain place, and then you associate Judaism with the power, whereas I view that as not relevant to it. Like, yeah, you're substantially more powerful than I am, but I don't view what you're doing as an issue of black people.
Yeah, but have you ever heard the term the black vote? So it's okay to put us in one net, but it's not okay for me to put them in one net.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's the basis of the hypocrisy that people have been thinking about and knowing about and realizing for decades. We were all wondering how this dam was going to break. Everybody in the country was wondering, what is the root of this hypocrisy? Why can people talk about white people a certain way? Why can't they talk about that group a certain way? And the wretched and wicked and oppressive prevailing orthodoxy of cancel culture, well, it turned out that the one thing that was going to break the dam was the biggest star in the world, and it took the biggest star in the world to do it. And now the dam is broken.
Except a much bigger and much more well-known and much more beloved character did the exact same thing. Henry Ford, when America was 90% white, and they weren't white guilted for a genocide against this other group of people. So it happened then. The biggest industrialist, far wealthier of that time than Ye is today, far more well-known, an American icon, and it went nowhere.
So let me tell you my issue. I don't like identitarianism. You guys are familiar with what that is?
Yeah. You know why it went nowhere? Because white people despise, even before that event that whites are white guilted for now, all white people, even Americans and Canadians and Brits and etc. All white people are responsible for that. We all have to pay up for that in various ways. Just white guilted for eternity for that. Part of anti-white narrative. It doesn't work because white people find it repugnant to blame people for things they did not do. We're not talking about anti-whites. We're talking about your ordinary white people, not anti-whites of any race. Ordinary white people find it repugnant to blame an entire group of people, as their babies, as soon as they come out of the womb, for crimes real and imagined throughout time. That is the nature of our race.
They started it, and they've been visiting on us. We're trying to break it.
When I was asking you about running for president, you immediately said, well, you'd be good for the black vote. And I said, is that because I'm black? No, not just because of that. So is that, are you doing the same thing?
I didn't say that was the only reason. I said it was because you're personable to the common person, and you probably would do well with the black vote. Absolutely.
Just because I'm black, because a lot of black people don't like me.
Of course. I think race plays a role in a lot of things. Absolutely. And I think that's for...
I think the construct of race has really been forced upon us as just something for us to be woke about and just constantly talk about and use it as these like walls.
Could you say the same thing about Judaism?
Well, let's look at the facts of what I'm saying though. If you say in this neighborhood where they gerrymander, there's this amount of time. So, hey, I wasn't doing that. I was just gerrymandering the lawyers and the Hollywood executives and the people at the bank that...
That's an inappropriate comparison. Apples and oranges. A demonstration of rank midwittery.
He banked me and then froze my accounts. You know, it's like we want to jump into protecting the idea that we can't put a net around something, right? But that's been my job as a producer.
He's condemning a group of people on the basis of their birth versus, and he said what he's saying is the same thing. Politicians gerrymandering, creating districts so their party can win. That is astonishingly stupid. Understand this. If there is a group of people in society that are willing to defend themselves, and there are many of those, and they can do it, different groups can do such, that defense of themselves, accusations, opprobrium, calumny, at different degrees, there are different groups that can do that. The fact that they come after you when you slander them is not evidence of world control. It's not evidence of being behind all of anti-whiteism. That's evidence of ethnocentrism. That's evidence of supporting each other and backing each other up. And I wish Western kind would do that. Unfortunately, you can see they don't do that. They attack and slander and death threat and dox anybody who disagrees with this anti-strategy of theirs. Well, you found a people that when you slander them, they will fight back. Evidence that they're in total control. And as you can see, no ground is made. The guy says, I'm going to use the rest of my money to buy a what is it, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? What was he saying?
When I'm literally they're trying to put me in jail for my opinion. But I'm not going to have that opinion. I don't care about people. Those are bots that are trying to tell you. We realize, look at Pence. He sold Trump out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I would have never wanted to do anything that hurt Trump. I'm on Trump's side. Trump said things that hurt me. He lied about me, but I mean, he's known for lying. And when people used to tell me that, you know, he's a liar, it's like, you know, I went into the trenches for Trump. That's another conversation. There was no one in my position that wore that hat, and all of my surroundings exhausted me. It was like death by 1,000 questions. I know I'm jumping to another thing, but what I'm saying is, I know you got a rep for your people online, but it's you got a person in real life that I'm not with it, bro. I lost the money for the freedom of speech.
So he's saying there, if you missed that, Ye is saying to Tim, I know you have to represent the people behind you who don't want you to permit or want you to stand up against these claims of defamation for an entire group of people that are coming out of Ye now. I'm curious also, did Milo encourage Ye to take Fuentes to see Trump?
And that's what makes me the only American that we know that really deserves to run the country, because everyone else, your boy DeSantis, Trump, whoever they raise in a petri dish over on.
He deserves, this is so it's so juvenile, deserves to run the country because after defaming a group of people that are willing to defend themselves, he's suffering consequences as a result.
the Democrat side is going to play the game.
Look,
and, like,
here's what I was trying to get to. You went right into the anti-Semite thing. I think it's something that should be talked about. But if you start bringing this up, you're gonna ask my opinion on it. I'm gonna disagree with you.
I didn't ask your opinion on it. You jumped into it. But I don't care about your opinion. I like your opinion on how we win an election, but I don't care about anybody's opinion, bro. I lost. They tried to put me in jail. They blocked $2 billion.
Ye's law.
I had, like what I told Farrakhan, I said, look, is it anti-Semitic for me to say his name out loud? Like, I told
minister.
Yeah, the minister. Like, I tell
Obama met with him too.
Oh, he was, yeah, I mean, the Jewish people allowed Obama to meet with the minister. You know, so Farrakhan said, well, did he have the money? The contract for the next 4 years, if I hadn't done anything, would have been $500 million a year for 4 years. What I was fighting for was the IP, so my children could, I'm sorry, just sometimes I think about 7 thoughts at one time, because
So he's in the middle of the actual point, the kernel of this that I told you all along. How many times do I got to be right? And I still got people saying, wish Jason could just understand this other. Bro, I understand forward, backward, 100 miles up, all the way into nanometers. I know what's going on. I know you have no idea. I know what's going on. The issue is that I also know how to win for Western kind. I also know how to win for us. Show me anywhere where anybody else gets all of these things right. I told everybody from the very beginning, 100% about his kids. Here he is saying from the beginning about my kids, and then he loses his thread of thought. This is the sort of broken strands of construction that is a sign of weakness, not mental strength.
God is using me. He's breaking me down, removing all of the, richest person, all of this, so I can serve him. And the more and more those things are taken away from me, the more I can be empty and be a vessel and be able to be used. And right now, it's like, you're not going to.
Yeah. So if you're condemning me, you're condemning God. Exact same line that Fuentes uses. Interestingly enough, the kind of people that Fuentes ends up gaining as followers are people that are willing to say in the same sentence, Jesus Christ and Fuentes.
Going to take, if we can't, you're not going to take my pain away, right? The Jewish people say it's the Holocaust, this happened, and you can't say anything about it. We can't take their pain away. No one's going to denounce the fact that they tried to lock me up. That's what, because every time I'm just holding stride, and it's like, I thought I was more Malcolm X, but I find out I'm more ML.
Yeah, of course they are going to defend themselves. Why would they sit around? Why would they sit around? I mean, they're not white, right? They're not white. Only white people would sit around and have the entire race condemned and then say, oh, well, let me just, not me, here's my CV. Can I work for you? Only the white race will do that. So looking at it, other groups of people and condemning them and saying that's the, only if those people are eradicated or removed, only if that happens, then we can have peace. Because the evidence is, because they will defend each other, for God's sake. You're condemning the behavior that we need to exhibit. Good grief. So here he is. He is slandering an entire group of people that, by the way, is not happening in a vacuum, but it's happening within the anti-white narrative, which we articulate here day in and day out. And nothing about the anti-white narrative for anti-whites of all races, of all immutable characteristics, is permitted to contradict the anti-white narrative. Am I clear there? Am I clear enough there? Nothing is permitted to contradict it.
Okay? Because as I'm getting hosed down every day by the press.
He's likening that to Jewish people saying that you can't overlook the Holocaust. Him saying, you can't overlook me slandering the shit out of your entire group of people and then what's being done to me in response. I mean, it's like if the group is weak when they respond. Let's say it's like American Indians and you're out on one of these really just destitute reservations in Canada or the United States where they're just most poor. But they would come to defend each other, but it would be nowhere near this level of power because they don't wield it in that little reservation. Is that somehow acceptable because of how weak they are? You're seeing the exact same behavior. It's just alien to white people for some reason.
And financially, I'm just standing there. And when I found out that they tried to put me in jail, it was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear, almost. But I still walked in stride through it. Yeah.
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who is they though? We can't say they. It's him.
Press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking
It is
about
them, though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
So here it is. Fuentes going to jump right in. He doesn't say much, so I'm not holding you back from hearing anything. Fuentes jumping in with his hatred on this entire group of people, and he served his purpose already. He is bringing Ye back down this direction, and he has already come into contact with like airborne aids for Donald Trump. Well done. Well done, little, Mexican leader of the white race. Well done. And what does he do? His typical bit. Now, let me just go back in 2018 and start in 2016. And then he just goes through just this monotone, monotonous. Remember there was an election? Yeah, we remember, Nick. And then remember there was this? Yeah, we remember. But apparently midget-witted people just sit there and drool and listen to him retell you about the last 4 or 6 or 7 years, like a little storyteller for a bunch of video game watching imbeciles. So here goes Nick. He's getting ready to do that. It is them, isn't it? It's 2018.
It's not.
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about, you leaving?
Are you afraid of the press?
He's
There he
on.
goes.
I'll say it right now.
There we go.
You guys want to bring that stuff up?
All right, that was it. They were waiting for, I guess, to see if Ye was going to come back. Milo and Nick were going to come back, and they thought they might because, as Luke had mentioned, he walked out on Morgan and then returned. That's not what happened here. What ended up happening was they stormed downstairs and wherever this studio is located, down to the first floor, and they called for one of them ended up saying a truck. So perhaps it is somebody who works for Ye, or maybe it was even just an Uber. Since Ye is getting absolutely destroyed, Ye's law, naming them ruins you, truer than ever. And you're seeing it here as it gets worse and worse. It's a inferno. And I think maybe what we can do, it's like a train going down the track, totally on fire, and people are screaming and leaping off of it. And it was also carrying fireworks, and that's going off. So if nothing else, we'll be able to mock and ridicule, gain some education from this. But the thing that really angers me is the active undermining of Donald Trump, the active undermining of patriotic, nationalistic United States. That's what this is from the very beginning. I think it's coming by way of Milo Yiannopoulos, always a shady character, associating with many shady people, keeping recordings on people he has spoken with in all these private conversations. He keeps that to be able to blackmail him, according to some claims. I don't know that for sure. Check it out to see if it's the case. But this guy shows up out of nowhere to lead Ye to take his, put all this focus on Jewish people and therefore all this focus on the Holocaust, and then associate that with Donald Trump and all the things that Nick has said all these many years that no normal American, no regular tax-paying American, law-abiding American is going to accept, is going to find as acceptable in the least bit. And the reason why I think it's being pushed so hard right now is because they want Trump to not even win the nomination. That's why they're pushing it so hard right now. So who knows what kind of money Fuentes was offered for this. I don't think it's just money. I think it's self-aggrandizement as well. You know that Milo is a bad character, and they're both ultimately working to the detriment of Kanye West. Kanye West has put himself into an extremely bad situation that wasn't going to be getting better soon, but it didn't have to get worse and worse. And it's only going to continue heading that direction as a consequence of the intelligence that he's being provided on a daily basis, and the strategy for so-called victory. It's an anti-strategy there as well that Milo Yiannopoulos is giving him. It will be such a joke in the months and years to come when people who are contradicting what I'm saying right now will look back without any shame whatsoever, without any disavowal of what they said before, without any apology to me, and say, well, of course somebody was behind that, Milo. Of course he was some sort of a puppet to make that. Of course, it all comes together now. I see clearly.